All right.
Let's start.
All right.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Kyrie Nasir, and I'm back with another YouTube video. Now, today we have a special guest. For those who don't know, this is my dad. So, first of all, thank you for allowing me to do a YouTube video with you.
No problem.
He doesn't do social media like that, so bear with us because it's something new for both of us
Yes,
entering it together.
Yep.
Also, another thing, he doesn't even know the topic. Okay? So the reason why I really don't tell people the topic prior to them filming videos with me is because I want to get people open and honest, respect for the questions, and I feel like people are honest when you do it on the spot rather than tell them and they can rehearse certain things or whatever like that. But basically on this YouTube, we're discussing father-son relationship.
Good topic. Good topic.
Father-son relationship. Now, for those who don't know, my dad has 3 sons and my mom has 3 sons. So, all boys, and you know, when you're being a father and a parent, you have to parent each one of them separately. You know, everybody has their own needs and, you know, communication styles. So, we're just going to discuss that. And, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Oh, you going to start drinking your wine now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, perfect. So, we're going to start off talking about my childhood. What do you remember most about me being a child?
Well, from the very beginning, first thing I could think about was how scared I was, because I was 21. So you was my first child, and I had no experience. Me and my father.
Pause.
You should have threw up like the peace signs. You trying to be all calm and professional. You should threw.
I'm sweating.
No.
Are
Come on. So, what do you remember most about me as a child?
Should I start from the beginning?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, again, like I said, you was my first son. I was 21. I had no experience. I really didn't understand what it took to be a parent because I was still young and dumb, running around, acting crazy. I just wanted to be sure that I could give you all the things I didn't have. So I remember when you first came home with your mom, I really didn't know what to do. I just knew that I needed to go and see you, and I was kind of learning on the fly. You know what I mean? Asking her if she needed anything and what should I buy. I was getting a lot of information from my mom at the time, telling me, you know, buy her this, buy her that, and that's just how I carried it because I didn't know.
You know, I will say, you know, of course, I was there at this time, but we talking about 95, so I don't really have recollection. But what I will say is, you carried that method of parenting throughout, I would say, for the most part. Like, you improved in certain areas as you got older, but I can say one of my earliest memories of my dad is the fact that he really prided himself in fathering was providing. Like, basically, I remember being young, and if we wanted it and we said we wanted it, he did everything in his power to get it for us. That was one thing I always remembered. Like, sneakers on the Avenue of Erie in Philadelphia, we was there every Saturday.
EA all day.
All day. And we had all the Air Force Ones and the K-Swifts and the Timberlands and the Nike boots and all the flyest clothes. Like, that was that. And, you know, he didn't really go shopping for the clothes, though. He sent his sister and his mama for that. But when they did, we was at the Gap and we was at the Polo Outlet and Children's Place. Shirley's.
The Shirley shop.
Listen. We had all the gear. That was definitely one thing he prided himself in. And I can say you really did a good job for that.
Oh, thank you.
You really did.
Appreciate it.
We really don't have conversation like this about this, so he really don't know how I actually feel. It's not even about my siblings, but how I actually feel. So, I take my hat off for you. Because one thing I can say about me is I really got that grind from you and my mom, but really for you when I think about fathers. Like, I think about actually providing for my children when I have one, because everybody knows I always said like I want like a lot of kids, and I always said like I feel like a father's job is to provide for his children.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
No problem. Thank you.
Now, what would you say about, we talked about, you know, being young. What would you say about my teenage years? How would you describe me as a teenager?
Well, let me go back a little bit. Your preteens and your middle school.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Man, if you know Kyrie, y'all know he was a humdinger growing up.
Not a humdinger, okay,
Yeah.
age.
But yeah, that's appropriate for 45. That's appropriate term.
We'll let it slide.
So, but Kyrie was giving me problems left and right. I was getting calls from the school, all the way from middle school to high school. But one thing I can say, like, he always had his own personality. He was different. He had a lot of his mom personality. Like, he was extra all the time. He still is to this day. But one thing I can say, he stick to who he is. He's genuine. If Kyrie on your side, he on your side. He ride for you. And that about him I appreciate. But his teenage years was like any other teen. Like, you're trying to figure out who you are. You know what I mean? You're trying to make your way through life and trying to figure out what you want to do. And that's what I saw in you. Like, I don't think it was any different from any like typical teenager. Like, you just was doing the typical teenage things. You was having fun. You was moving around and finding out who you are. And I think it was like really normal.
Yeah, I would say, I think those years was like so monumental for me, because for me, my important thing that I always knew, like growing up, that I wanted to do was find my own independence and know who I was at a young age. I didn't want to just follow after people, because one thing about me is if I'm gonna get in trouble for something, I'm gonna get in trouble for it because I wanted to do it, not rather because I followed behind people and did it because of that. Like, I always wanted to do stuff because I wanted to do it, and I always wanted to do it because I felt like it was right. Like, if you get in trouble for feeling like, you know, something was right and you really wanted to do it, when you able to stand on it and defend it, you come from a different angle rather than, I don't know. And one thing about, I can say growing up, one answer that was never okay was I don't know.
That's right.
Like, I literally could never say, I don't know. I don't know why that was such...
Unacceptable.
But here's the thing. For me personally, I know I used to feel like this. My other siblings, for some reason, can say, I don't know, and it was fine.
No, that's still unacceptable.
We gonna sip on that. That is not true.
Yeah, that's almost like a way of saying I don't feel like thinking about it and I don't feel like explaining it.
That's what I got. But Seth...
He's different.
No. He's a human with a brain. And he, you know, when you force people to think and stand on their opinions, I don't know, turns into explanation real fast. And I always felt like, even with my mom, because like my older brother Aeneas, I don't know, or one thing that I could never do, Aeneas was really not the I don't know one. Seth was the I don't know one. Aeneas was the, huh? I could never say, huh, or what, or I don't know. I was always forced to have an explanation or a reason for why I had this, you know, whatever action happened in my life. So I was like, why? Like, that was a big thing for me. Like, I always was like, why am I the one that's forced to have to think, basically? And this was me growing up. Now, the funny thing about it, I can say now it plays a huge role in my life and my friendships and in my relationships. Like, I don't know, it's not a sufficient answer for me.
Oh,
It's really,
why though?
because y'all forced me to know. So I'm like, if my family and my parents forced me to know, you better know. Like, for my mom, I can say y'all was the same on that, because I don't know. if my mom said, go upstairs and get this out of my room,
Yeah.
it's on the bed. And then we get there and it's not on the bed, you better look. And when you come back and say you couldn't find it, it's a problem.
Right.
Like, I don't know why you couldn't find, like, you look, you better find if it's not where you said it's at, you better find where you might think I put it. Like, I was always forced to think farther than just the surface level. It's a good thing and a bad thing, I guess, because everybody wasn't raised that way, so people get frustrated when I challenge them.
To think.
Yeah, to think, like, well, why you do this? Oh, I don't know. You do know.
Right.
You just don't want to say it. So why?
Right.
And I get into so many different arguments and debates because of that. But it's literally because of them. Like,
But that's healthy. That's healthy conversation. Because I think if a person be open and honest with you, then you understand that person a little better. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I think the same way.
Cool.
We agree on that.
Facts.
On that. With that being said, okay, so before we get to me being grown, what is something, if you could go back, I don't say any mistakes, but if you could go back, what is something you would change about your parenting style with me?
Well, like I said, from the beginning, I had no education about parenting. I had no knowledge of what it took to be a solid parent and all of that. So if I could go back, what I would do is be more present with you at a younger age, because I was just dependent on all the women in my life to tell me what they needed. Your mom, my sister, my grandma. You know what I mean? So I really didn't have my own ideas like implementing toward you. All my ideas came from the women in my life to tell me what they needed, and that's what I did. You know what I mean? Because at that time, like I said, I was only 21, man. And anybody who know me know that I was like outside. I was a street guy, you know what I'm saying? So I was ripping and running. I really didn't have a clue. I was not paying attention to women really like that. You know what I'm saying? I was more entrenched into all the wrong things in the world. You know what I'm saying? So if I can go back, once you came into the world, I would be more hands-on with you instead of just like taking you when I had to take you and stuff like that. I would be more hands-on with you and like trying to teach you like some manly stuff. But to be honest with you, I didn't even know those things. You know what I mean? Like my uncles and my father, and they didn't teach me things like that. Like now I'm learning that stuff now as an adult, like trying to be more handyman and like all of those things. I learned those things as an adult, but at 21, I didn't have no experience with that kind of stuff. And quite honestly, I wasn't even interested. So if they would have tried to teach me, if they ain't make me do it, I probably wouldn't have been interested. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have been able to teach those things to you. So now when you and I have conversations now as an adult, all the things that I'm figuring out now, I try to tell you while you young and try to give you the game. So now that you don't make the same mistakes, or you can start to, make progress early. So you won't have to wait till 40 or 35 like I did, basically.
It's so funny that you said that, because for me, I think that pretty much sums up what I would have wanted you to say. Mm-hmm. Not totally, but literally majority of it. Because for me, I think one thing about me, I'm a forgiving person. Mm-hmm. And I always focus on moving forward rather than the current. Like I always try to move forward and come to some type of common ground. Mm-hmm. And one thing about me, I could say in our relationship is I feel like I never totally faulted you on certain aspects, because I always thought of it as in you don't really have that relationship with your father. Mm-hmm. So anything you learn is literally on the job. Mm-hmm. So one thing I always would be happy with is your relationship with my siblings, mm-hmm. the younger ones, mm-hmm. because I would like...
I made all the mistakes with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's trial and error.
Yeah.
It's trial and error. And I say that with my mom too, because she has an older child. Mm-hmm. And, for lack of a better example, the first is really like the mistake child. Like, you trying to figure it out. You really are not in the swing of things. Yeah. And you trying to put all the pieces together.
Mm-hmm.
So when the third one come along, you should be a little more versed in, parenting because you done made the mistake a couple of times already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I think when it comes to like Anthony and Seth, I'll be like, no, talk to him like this or do something like this because that is how it would have been better for me as a child. Like I put myself in his shoes and I put myself in knowing you because you're the parent and I've been parented by you, so I know how you already are. So that's why I try to like to communicate on that type of level. So it's really important that you actually understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Understand the fact of the matter that communication goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
And reflecting, and it's important to actually say it. Like it's good when you can identify it, but I think personally for me it takes a big person to be able to say, I'm sorry I wronged you in this aspect, or I'm sorry I couldn't be what I really wanted to be. I just didn't have the tools.
Mm-hmm.
So I really take that into consideration for a lot of things, and I appreciate it. One thing I can say about my childhood that stays with me as an adult is the fact of the matter, you probably don't know this, but literally, I really don't worry about making my mom happy or anybody else happy. I literally, for some reason, it's a big deal to show you that, like, I could be successful.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I never... I'm gonna start crying.
Nah, that's cool. That's cool because I kind of had similar feelings, you know what I'm saying? Even with my dad. My dad wasn't really never in my life. I mean, I always had a relationship. I knew him. I called him. We talked, but, like, we never did things together. You know what I'm saying? But, like, for some reason, I make it a point, like, and you and I, like, we still, even though we have our hiccups, you know what I mean? We have peaks and valleys. But at least we still on a vibe, like, you can call me. You can call me if you need help with something. Like, I never called my dad for nothing. You know what I'm saying? If worst came to worst, I'll get it from my mom or my grandma. I never went to my father. You know what I mean? Because for some reason in my heart, I had to show him that, not so much that I didn't need him, but I had to show him that, that I was a man. Like, it's like something internal inside you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you had to show him, like, to prove to him, like, I can stand up. Like, you made me. I got a lot of your traits, and I'm strong enough to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can still take care of my mom and all of that. Like, people in my life now always be like, why you do this or that for your mom? It's just like, I want my mom to be good because I know that she sacrificed so much for me. You know what I'm saying? And I need my father to see that if he would have been somewhat like this type of dude, that they could have probably worked out. You know what I'm saying? But they were both young too. You know what I'm saying? So my mom had me at 17. So I can imagine what that relationship was like. You know what I mean? If I was acting like I was acting at 21 toward your mom, you know what I mean? I imagine 4 years earlier. You feel me?
Right.
So, I mean, like, it's just life, man. You know what I mean? I don't mean no ill will. I just had to learn so much of the bad shit that I was taught, you know what I mean, from the street. I had to unlearn it, you know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, it didn't happen till I got to become older and seasoned.
40.
You know what I'm 35.
38. We get a solid 38.
You feel me?
We give it 38.
I mean, these are the best years right now. You know what I'm saying? These are the best years because I feel like I'm learning so much, and I feel like I've learned so much, and I got supportive people in my corner that I can rely on, and they can check me. You know what I'm saying? They check me and say, hey, look, you need to think about it this way, that way. And sometimes I don't listen. You know what I mean? Sometimes I be still stuck in my ways, you know what I'm saying? So, but I got that support system where I can actually grow. You know what I mean? Like, people can tell me stuff, and I can actually grow and try to give y'all the game. So y'all can say, look, this is what it is. You know what I mean? Like, when you told me you I don't know if I'm off topic and I'm rambling because it is. But when you told me, like, when you wanted to leave college, you know what I'm saying? First thing I tell you all the time, like, well, what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? You don't need school. You know what I mean? Millionaires don't always graduate college. You know what I'm saying? If
Right.
you got a dream, you got a passion, what you want to do. I feel like I got the knowledge. Let's run it by me. Let's start pursuing it. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't about you showing me. It's about you being passionate in what you want to do. Cause I'm gonna support you regardless. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how to not do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to not support you. You know what I mean? I might complain and shit and bring it to you, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be in your corner because I want the best for you. I want to see you win, basically.
You know, and I could say from a child standpoint to a parent, it's important for you to say that to your child because sometimes as children, we don't know. And, you know, I think sometimes as parents, can just tell a child when they are doing something wrong or messing up and not always congratulating them on the things that they do positive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important for other people to say that. So I really do appreciate that.
You used to always ask me that. Why you don't never say like my mom? My mom always tell me that I'm doing this thing. Well, my approach is different. Your mom is your mom, your dad is your dad.
Yeah, change it.
All right.
We just said each child is different. So if I don't want to hear all the negative, I don't want to hear what you're doing wrong all the time. I want to hear positive stuff sometimes. Now you can definitely tell me the negative, but tell me the positive too.
Mm-hmm.
Or else I'm sitting there waiting for the negative all the time. So it's the phone ring. What's wrong? I want to know. What's wrong? Because I'm used to wrong. I'm used to being told what was wrong, not what was
Fix it.
right.
Yeah.
So I can say, even then in my adult life, do I carry that? No, I don't think I carry it with everybody I carry. No, I really probably do. Like, I don't know. I think as a child, I was not able to complain about a lot. Although he think I was very vocal, like he used to be like, you say whatever you want. Only if he really knew what I really wanted to say, he would really recant that statement because
It was work. No.
if I did not have a filter,
Listen.
what they really would have heard was
Listen, when I used to go to the meetings at your school, first thing the teachers be like, you gotta hear what comes out of his mouth.
and
I'm
they
like,
heard
I know.
the filtered version.
And so the unfiltered version would have probably got you locked up.
Remember that time it almost did.
Yeah. Listen, if the filtered version was that bad, the unfiltered version would. Who knows what that would have looked like?
But here's the thing. One thing I can say about that, I led with honesty. And like you said, if I'm on your side, I'm on your side. If I'm not, I'm not.
But
I
it's
can't.
perceived different coming from a kid.
It is. But why is that? Because if you are a religious person, what's that face for?
Cause you say why is that? Because the old school value, right? Kids will be seen and not heard.
Okay, so if we want to talk about the old school value, which you brought up, right?
Right.
Let's go older and let's talk about the Bible.
Okay.
Okay?
All
And
right.
a child shall lead.
I never heard that.
Yes.
I never heard a
Yeah.
child shall lead.
Yes.
I've never heard that in the Bible. You got to bring that up when you
So,
when you edit this. You got to bring that up.
So you telling me in David and Goliath,
Okay. What a
you
child.
telling me the child, David was,
Yeah.
what was David?
Who
Was he a
it?
grown man?
I thought he was.
Read it again.
All right. I thought he was an adult. Was that pause?
You telling me the child shall not lead?
The
Is that,
parents lead.
that is
Yeah.
not true.
Don't
That is
I've
not
never
true.
heard it. Can you give me some more? I've never heard that.
You want some more too, Curry?
Sure.
You want
So, yeah, like I feel like, you know, a child
Mm-hmm.
is sometimes more wiser than a parent. Not saying the parent, and I'm not talking about 4 years old, clearly. We talking about teenagers.
That's even worse. Because
No.
teenagers do be all over the place.
Dad, I really think I was a very mature teenager.
Very few are.
We're not talking
Very-
about few, we talking about me. Do you think I was a mature teenager?
No. You was wrecking money. You was blowing your money. You was all over the place. In school, I still was getting calls from
I
you
didn't
at
say
school.
was I accounting.
Well, what about when they were saying that you wouldn't put your cell phone away and all that? That ain't no mature teen.
Yes, I had calls to make, and I was
In school?
I was
During
thinking
class?
about like running like an empire, basically. Like I was I say I was very wise behind my ear. First of all, you know that's true. You used to leave everybody's child with me to babysit. They was down at the bar with the cars and everything in the linen suits back in the early 2000s. This is when Mr. Cool was on the radio and
Mr.
Genuine
Cool?
was. Listen, it's so that's back then. You know, Danger. That's back then when they was really young. Like he was like in his prime at the time. Okay, if your sister was like 25, how many years older?
3, so I was 28.
He was in the club, linen suits, Air Force Ones. That was the good. That's when they had the Hypnotic. Hypnotic was it back then.
Yeah.
Hypnotic and
Hennessy.
all that.
Yeah.
All that. Incredible Heart.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know, they really was out. They left me with all the children. So you had to have some type of trust in me.
That's true. All my friends was just dumber than me and just like, I want to go out that bad, but leave my kids with
Well,
your son.
It's a mixture of both.
Yeah, and then the
I
sad
know
part
this
about
friend.
it, sad part about it, they older than me, so I was the youngest.
It was a mixture. I definitely had the kids. I was on kids duty. It was very much so. I'm leaving y'all in the house. Here's a box of pizza. Don't touch the door.
Right.
That was
right.
literally the rules.
right.
And you, the oldest, so you in charge.
If anything happened, call me.
It wasn't on Tierra. It was on me.
Yeah.
But that's another video. It was on.
Tierra was 30.
It was on me. But one thing I can say.
I sent them to the store for a box of pizza.
Here we go. Here we go.
$8. I gave them 20. They didn't come back with no change.
He gave it to Tierra. I was the chaperone. So, and Tierra probably gonna watch this like, yo, he's still talking about this box of pizza and this $20 change.
$12 tip.
He was generous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they don't get paid much. Tip. Anyway, so one thing I can say though is you have gotten so much better as the older you got, like as you matured in age, you have gotten so much better in your approach with me at least.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm actually trying, so that means that it's working. Because
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to be better. So that actually.
That is really good. That is really good. One person I say keeps you on your toes. Like I think me is different. Like you receive information differently from me.
Mhm.
You can take it or leave it sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, you could definitely take it or leave it. Most of the time he ain't taking it, he left it. Seth is literally the one that gets you. Like for some reason it hits you different because your relationship with Seth is stronger. Like he's quote unquote, he's the favorite for him. Out of my dad's children, don't even try to.
None of my kids are favorite. They're all the same.
We gonna good. Okay, that's good for the media. We
That's
know
true.
Seth is the favorite. However, when Seth get him together, he gets him together. Like Seth will leave him high and dry and be like, learn how to talk to people. Like, for some reason, and it will hit different versus he expects it from me. Anthony,
And don't say much.
it's a shrug. Like
Yeah,
it's a shrug. It's like okay.
Don't
And
say much.
Seth is like, oh, that's what you really gonna do that?
Uh-huh.
Seth hits different with it. So I really love when Seth do it because Seth is so. He is on the money when he do it. It really is good when he do it. But like, I can say, you know, in our not later years, because we still have many more to come.
God.
But like, in the years that we have now, you have definitely grown. Thank God for aging, because you have definitely grown and became mature. Because I feel like, to wind back, in my teenage years, when we look at the time, I think we went like 3 years without speaking to each other.
I think it was more like 2.
Really? I was going to say 4 before I said 3.
Yeah, 2. Yeah. And tell them about Tell them about what made you call me. I remember it like it was yesterday.
Probably money.
Yeah.
Well,
Going back to college.
No.
Going back to college, you was like, I still need that money every month. And I
Yeah.
was like,
I did.
damn, like you ain't calling to say we
No.
need to fix this. You calling to be like, I need money.
You know what? And see, that is, I can't even judge you on that. You know why? Because that's how you received it. Versus, I could say on my end, I have, not to invalidate your feelings, but I have the accurate picture of what actually happened. And for the accurate picture in my eyes was, I reached out to you in that 2-year instance. Let's go with 2. In that 2-year instance, I reached out to you several times. Because one person, even when I didn't want to reach out to you, my mom always was like, did you call your dad? Did you call your dad? Or whatever. And I used to talk to my godfather, Carlton, who was a pastor, about the situation and everything. And Carlton used to call me and be like, try again. You are not receptive
I probably
to
was.
the whole situation.
Yeah.
So when I would reach out, I was met with combativeness.
Probably.
And then we'll go some more time. And then we'll go some more time. And then we'll go some more time. But it would be sporadic. It would be like a call, try to talk, goes nowhere, hang up, time, call, try to talk. And it was a domino effect for a long period of time until I graduated high school. And then it was like, that was really like one of the last instances of that situation. But I reached out so much. And one thing I can say is that plays a tremendous part in areas of my life now, like in relationships, because I feel like necessarily, you know how when instances are not really good or like y'all not in a good place, friendship and romantic, it's just like, this is what you're familiar with. So you try to hold on to it a little bit, even though it might not be beneficial, and you'll try to work through it. Like I'm always trying to work through stuff that actually probably should have been ended. You get what I'm saying? But I constantly try to look for the silver lining in it, or look at the positive rather than negative. And I say that is a good and a bad thing at times, because I'm constantly, I think, looking for validation. Like, one thing I can say about our relationship is I constantly always used to say, and you said it briefly, like, you never tell me I did good in this. Or one thing I know I really used to always say is, you never tell me you understand how I feel. Like, I literally don't know what it is to be like, you right, from you. Like, you never said I was right. It was always the latter. And it sticks with me because, so like, I always look for a piece of validation. Like, I always want somebody to say, you know what, I understand what you're saying, but from my point of view, this is my take on it. Like, I receive it better like that rather than I don't get it. For some reason, when people say I don't understand, and I think of myself as a very logical person, like I try to assess the whole situation or scenario from all instances before I actually act on it. So when somebody say I don't understand how you got here, it's just like, are you kidding me? Like, this is the most logical way of things. And then also, a trait from you that I picked up is the argumentative side.
I used to be like that. I ain't been like that in a long time.
I'm just gonna say, we haven't had an argument in a long time. But one pill he can't swallow is being wrong. Wrong in him. Don't look for validation over there. Now he's looking for validation. Don't look for validation over there. Not answering. One thing he can't do is accept Well, he did earlier in this video. One thing I remember from arguments is that he wouldn't accept his part in it. It was always the finger pointing. Well, you did this, so I did that. And for me, pettiness does not work. Don't tell me you did this because I did that because that's petty.
Do you know where I'm from?
No. Do
Everybody
you know
petty where I'm from.
and do you know where I'm from?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we
what
all
you,
petty.
So what you would know is I'm not petty. What you would know is I operate off of I did this because I wanted to do this. I did it not because you did this, but because I want to do this. Like I really operate off of what is right or what in my mind is right or logical. So if I did it, it's not I did this because you did this. I did this because I thought this was right. I don't operate. If I operated off of because you did this, I'm always like, that's not because I wanted to do it. It's because I was following after something you already led.
Okay.
So I don't operate off of that. And me being parented by you, that's not okay because you wouldn't want me to do something because I follow behind somebody else. So don't follow behind nobody else. I need you to do what you did because you thought was right. Lead from right, not from wrong or a pettiness. Do that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But go ahead, cause
Ain't no buts. You're right.
I'm what?
You're right.
25 years in the game, and I finally got I'm right. I take it. And with that being said, I don't want him to make the right wrong. So we gonna end this video here. It was really good, don't you think?
I think it was healthy and therapeutic.
Don't you? We might do another video again, but thank you for doing this video so far.
Did you do one with your mom?
I haven't. The funny thing about it is my mom actually asked me to do a YouTube video with her
Okay.
first.
Well,
Well,
see how many people watch mine over hers, because I'm better than her.
I don't think it's you better. You know what it might be? People got daddy issues. So whenever they say me and my dad having a conversation, they gonna click the dad. Mom is normally cool. Dads be tripping. And with that being said, thank you. It's your boy Kyrie Nasir signing out from another exhausting video. I'll holler at y'all later. Peace.